So today we're going to talk about inspections and what you should inspect. So your basic inspection is going to be looking at 5 things: windows, plumbing, mechanicals, electrical, and appliances. The inspector is going to make sure that not only are these things in working order, but in general, you understand the condition of the home. Here's my big thing, is that I don't care if the home is 100 years old or brand new, there's going to be something. We're going to uncover it, and we'll be able to address it to the seller when that time comes. So there are add-ons you can get to the basic inspection, one being a sewer scope. And a sewer scope is probably necessary if you're buying a single family home or say a townhome, because you're responsible for the sewer. Roof inspection, again, probably with a single family home, because with a condo, the HOA is probably gonna be more responsible for the condition of the exterior. So like tuck pointing and the roof. And last one is a radon inspection. So radon is actually an odorless gas that if there's in high amounts can actually be detrimental to your health. Normally we'll use that when it's a first floor unit or a duplex down or a basement unit, and of course in a single family home too as well. Now you don't have to get these inspections. My thing is that you want to know everything you can about this home. Not necessarily that is it going to be perfect, but if things are going to happen, I want to know about it ahead of time. It's a small, smart investment up front to help you manage the bigger investments long term. So the inspector is going to be checking to make sure everything's in working order. So first thing is windows. What are they actually going to be looking for? The entire point of the inspection is to make sure things are operating properly. So do the windows open? Are they tracking right? Are the latches working? Are they locking properly? That's a big thing. With electrical is making sure things are wired properly. Again, the biggest one I see is GFCI outlets, which are normally around water sources, so like around sinks, so that if something was to touch the water that was plugged in, it will actually shut off the circuit breaker. So we're making sure those are in working condition. When it comes to plumbing, making sure that there are active leaks, and if there were leaks in the past, were they addressed? The last 2 things are mechanicals and appliances. So everything that's being checked is going to have some sort of life expectancy. So depending on the make and model, the year, and how it was taken care of, it's either going to extend that life or decrease some of its functionality. So we're finished with the inspection and we found some items that might need to be addressed. How do we move forward? I have 2 categories. One is handyman items. Small things that can probably be fixed over a weekend watching YouTube. And then my next category is licensed professional items. Things that you probably shouldn't be tackling yourself, and things you might actually want to be done before you moved in. And for each person, what falls in these buckets are entirely different. So I'll give you an example. When we talk about windows, there's a latch that closes those on top of each window, and half the time they don't latch properly because over time, windows opening and windows closing, they just don't line up anymore. Yes, you probably could ask for that to be repaired, but honestly, I think you could probably get a bag of those locks for like $25 at Home Depot. It's literally 2 screws and you can screw them in yourself. If the windows don't open, that's an issue. Like the windows don't function to its main job, which is to open and close. If you're on the 3rd floor and they can't lock, I think we're gonna be okay. Honestly, I could list things all day. The big thing is I wanna make sure that you feel comfortable with the condition of the home. There'll be credits, there'll be repairs, there'll be things that we might get stuck on in this part of the inspection, but all in all, I'm on your team. I'm here to make sure that you feel comfortable with this purchase. So now that we're done with the inspection, we've figured out credits and repairs, we delivered that second half in earnest money, what happens next? So from here, we're probably gonna get condo docs, which are gonna be rules and regulations, and a 22.1 document. So condo docs are just that. They're rules and regulations of the building. There's some things that I tell clients they should look out for, especially if it's important to you. 1, rental rules. If they said there were no rental restrictions, we want to make sure that's in the condo docs. 2 is going to be pets. Like people have pets, and sometimes I don't know that you have 7 dogs and you didn't realize you could move in with 7 dogs. Like we want to actually read the rules and regulations about pet policies. There are a ton of other things you should probably be privy of, but those are the top 2 I think that comes up a ton. So the second half of that is going to be the 22.1 document. In that, you'll find out about the condition of the building and repairs that were done in the past or repairs they're going to be doing in the future, and also financials, so budgets and the operating costs of that building. If there's anything in these 2 documents that probably jumps out to us, we'll address it with the attorney and with the seller. Your next thing is going to be appraisal. You actually don't have to be here for this one. Your lender's gonna be ordering an appraisal to make sure the purchase price actually matches to what the perceived value of the property is. There's two things that can happen here. You could get this value exactly at the purchase price, so a little bit over, or it comes under. So what happens if it's a little bit over? Nothing, you got instant equity. But if it's a little bit under, we actually have to reopen negotiations with the seller because the lender is not gonna actually give you that loan based on that new appraisal. At this point, the lender should be asking for a little bit more information because we're trying to finalize that loan so we get something called a clear to close. Once we get that clear to close, we're gonna schedule our final walkthrough. Final walkthrough, I like to get as close to the closing date or even time as possible. The reason why, I wanna make sure that nothing is gonna go wrong in between the time that we did a final walkthrough and the closing table. So sometimes we do it like an hour or two before, if we really have to, the day before. So a final walkthrough, we make sure, one, the building's still there, and two, if we did ask for credits and repairs, that those things get completed. And don't worry if they did not, we'll actually have the attorney take care of it at the closing table. From there, you head to closing, which is at a title company. You sign over all your documents. You meet me back at the property, hand over the keys, celebrate, you're a homeowner.